Okay, here we are again with decimals and fractions. Only today, I'm taking away the boxes with the black dots that represent my pennies. Today, we are looking at bars and number lines. So I kind of want you to see what it is we have up here. When working with decimal numbers that are less than 1, we usually, first thing I want you to see, we usually write a 0 in front of the decimal point because it's easy to not see that decimal. So we want to make sure that we have a clear-cut way to say, oh, hey, there's a decimal point there. So we put the 0 in front of the decimal point so that we don't misread things. So in case you were wondering about that 0 in front of the decimal, it is important, and it's part of the reading of decimals. I want you to continue labeling these number lines. So they've started this for you. They've done it fractions and decimals so that you kind of get the hint here. So what should the next one be? 1/10. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. So 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. What I want you to see is that regardless of how I write it, I'm saying it exactly the same way. 1/10 as a fraction, 1/10 as a decimal. Here on this number line, we are labeling each part now. So 1/10, this is 1/10, this is 2/10, this is 3/10, this is 4/10. So what's this going to be? You should be writing this on your paper with me. 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. So what I want you to see is that this next bar that we have here is broken into hundredths. So it's taken each 10 and broken it into 10 more. So this is 10, this is 20, this is 30, this is 40, this is 50 hundredths. This is 60 hundredths. This is 70 hundredths. This is 80 hundredths. And this is 90 hundredths. Same thing below. It is still a number line, and it's broken into smaller pieces. So there's 100 little pieces now in this number line. So this is 5 hundredths. This is 6 hundredths. This is 70 hundredths. I'm sorry. Let me start that again. This is 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, 90 hundredths. It's 90 pieces out of 100. 80 pieces out of 100. Use what we know about fractions and about money. What do we know about money? A dime equals 1/10 of a dollar, and a penny is 1/100th. Let's write that over here. Dime so a dime equals 1/10 of a dollar, and a penny, my black dots, is 1/100th of a dollar. Okay? Why 3/10 is the same as 30 hundredths? I want you to pause and think about it. Why is 3/10 the same as 30 hundredths? Okay, so 3 dimes equals 30 cents, and 30 pennies equals 30 cents when you're talking about dollars and that kind of thing. So what I want you to see here is the 3/10 and the 31/100ths. So if I were to multiply the top by 10 and the bottom by 10, I would get 31 hundredths. So that's why these are equivalent. Tenths are greater than hundredths, even though 10 is less than 100. Why do you think this is true? It is true, but explain why. I want you to think back to the very first lessons of fractions and how if I have one pizza that's cut into 8 pieces and one pizza that's cut into 4 pieces and I want the bigger slice, where am I going to go? To the 4 or to the 8? Well, we know that 4 is smaller than 8, but in the fraction world, everything's upside down. And the explanation is very simple. If you divide a whole into 10 equal parts, each one of those parts is going to be larger than if you were to divide up the whole into 100 equal parts. Think of the boxes from a couple days ago with the black dots in them. One black dot is 1/100th. 10 black dots is 1/10. 1/10 is larger than 1/100th. Okay, apparently I wasn't videoing and I did 4 through 9 for you. I want you to see that the place value thing I have at the top, hopefully that will help you. And what you do is you put the number that you say and it needs to end in that place. So for example, you have the 0 helps us know that there's a decimal point here. So 8/10. I want that 8 to sit in the 10ths place. 6/100. I want it to sit in the hundredths place, but I need a 0 here to hold the 10ths place and the decimal point and the 0 to hold the ones place. Now with 35/100, I have 3/10, 30, correct? 30 needs to sit, 3 needs to sit in the 10ths place. 5/100, 35/100 needs to sit in the 100th place. And then I continued with 92/100 sits in the 900ths place. 2/10 and 9/100. If you notice, placeholder, decimal, placeholder, 9. So in the little town of Silver, there are 100 people. 4 are left-handed. What decimal shows the fraction of people who are left-handed? So we have 4/100 of the people. So 4 out of 100 are left-handed. What decimal number shows the fraction of people who are right-handed? So it's what's left over. So it's going to be 96/100 shows us how many are right-handed. So 4 and 96 have to equal how many people live in the town, if you're wondering how I got that. There are 10 children playing volleyball. 6 of them are boys. What decimal number shows the fraction of players that are boys? So 6 out of 10 players. So 6/10 of the players are boys. What decimal number shows the fraction of players that are girls? Well, what's the leftover? How am I going to get to 10? 4. 4/10 are girls. So down here, we're going to use our knowledge of monies. And if you're not understanding any of this, you can always rewind. You can always, we're going to go over it again in class tomorrow. I have some really cool things that we're going to do with those flashcards tomorrow. This is just to kind of give you that basic understanding. So a penny, we've already said, is 1/100th of a dollar. So if I were showing that as a decimal, I would show it as 1/100th of a dollar. A nickel is 5/100ths or 1/50th. Oh, I'm sorry. Bad math on my part. Divide the top by 5, that's 1. Divide the bottom by 5, that's 20. 1/20th of a dollar. And I would show that as 5/100ths of a dollar. That's the decimal. A dime is 10 over 100. If I want that in simplest form, I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. 100 divided by 10 is 10th. So a dime is 1/10 of a dollar. And a quarter is 25 out of 100. If I divide the top by 25, that's 1. If I divide the bottom by 25, that's 4. So a quarter is considered 1/4 of a dollar, or 25/100ths. Like I said, we are going to be doing way more of this in class with me, and make sure you have those flashcards so that we can kind of manipulate them and use them as a hands-on tool. Make sure to check out that Google form tonight so I can see where you're really having a hard time, or if, hey, you're good, you're golden. I'll see you tomorrow.